You're watching the G20 Show, produced by Phil from Arcade Regiment, and of course, your host, G20.
So, hey, Marshall. How are you doing right now? Is everything going okay over there for you?
I never thought I would say this in my life, but at least I got the Leafs. That's where I'm at in life right now. Is at least I got the Leafs. How desperate of a situation? How dire must it be to say at least I have the Leafs? That is unbelievable.
It's not even how dire must it be. It's just like how truly desperate that the Leafs of all teams, noted recent playoff success, Toronto Maple Leafs are the backup plan where you're like, you know what? At least I got those fine gentlemen in the blue and white, because those fine gentlemen in the blue and orange, oh boy.
Well, orange and blue, because apparently the orange jersey has to be the home jersey for some reason.
I don't get that. You guys had such wicked home jerseys in 16, 17, and then you had that alternate last year. That awesome, just throwback alternate, and then for some reason you went with these other ones. I don't mind them, but
yeah, they said how about we made what if we took the alternate orange jersey that everybody loved, made it worse, and made it our home jersey. That's basically what happened.
Profit? Success?
Profit? And I said, no profit. I'm not buying one.
You're not getting my dollary dues, let me tell you.
I'll be damned if I even buy a Fanatics version of that thing.
Oh my god.
Hell no.
That's how you know you're truly desperate, if you're buying Fanatics. That's a topic for a whole nother day. But at least you got the Leafs, because the Oilers are donezo. They are out. They have been swept by the Winnipeg Jets in 4 games. I can't
Not my
believe
prediction.
That.
My simulation was right. My prediction was Jets in 5. So, I mean, shame, right? I missed it by 1 game.
That's
God forbid the Oilers actually put up a fight and get a W in there.
I'm just astounded, dude, that your simulation was good, because EA Sims are just known for being horribly wrong, horribly inaccurate. But we get to yours, and it's like, okay.
It's getting scary, because if the Leafs win their next game, then both of the simulations that I've done are going to be accurate. So it's getting a little scary. And I'm just saying, if both simulations end up being right, then you better watch the live stream when I sim, I don't know, the second round series.
Watch the live stream and buy a lottery ticket or a Pro Line ticket, because that's easy cash for you right there, man.
You know who's easy cash, though?
Who?
Betting on Nylander to get a goal. Holy cow.
Forget Willie Styles. Willie Cash, man. Oh, my Lord.
Seriously, dude.
He has been popping off.
Been unreal. And what's weird about Nylander, or what's fascinating about him, is I feel like whenever someone like Marner or McDavid touches the puck, that they have the puck. You realize that they do, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas I feel like Nylander, you don't even know he's there until he's really there, and then he scores.
And then it's
he just hides in the weeds and shit, and he's just all sneaky, and all of a sudden Gino's like, you know what? It's whatever.
It's like a Pokemon waiting to attack, and then all of a sudden you just find yourself trapped.
Right.
And then huge goals. He's off to a fantastic start, which, Marshall, I'm sorry, man. We're going to have to eat the veggies sooner or later. You can put it off as long as you want, man. But we got to talk about what went wrong with the Edmonton Oilers. And I do want to know your thoughts. You are more versed in the Oilers than I am. But what was the kind of biggest factor that kind of went wrong? A lot of people are going to point to that, 3-goal lead choke. But did you because you said Jets in 5. So did you already kind of have a really bad feeling going into this? What was it that kind of set you off on those lines?
Well, the reason I said Jets in 5 is the Oilers have the best player. Sure. The Jets have not the better defense. I feel like the Oilers have the best defense as well, in comparison with those two teams. But I said Jets in 5 because depth and goaltending. It was that simple. I'm like, man, the Jets are coming in on a cold streak, but I mean, they're still stacked. Like, they got some really good forward depth, okay? And yeah, that's what went wrong. I mean, everything, pretty much everything going. And by the way, can we stop the whole train of blaming McDavid for this? There's so many people that are doing this right now. I can't believe that. Like, the man had, I think it was 4 points in the last 2 games. Like, what else do you want? What else do you want, bro? He was doing what he does.
Mm-hmm.
He was the best player for the Oilers. What? I don't know what else you want, man. That's just, at some point, it's not basketball, right? I don't know if you've seen the Stephen A clip that happened.
I loved the Stephen A clip, mind you. Of course, I found the Stephen A clip. Come on.
It was okay. Cool. Like, it was entertaining. It was a fun clip, but it's not basketball. It's not, oh, you have 2 of the top 5 players in the league, so you should be a minimum, 3rd round team. No, that's not how it works in hockey. You need actual depth, different defined roles and players that do a little bit of everything. You need everything. You don't need 2 top guys. How well has it worked out for the Leafs to have 2 top guys? Mitch and Austin held 3 top guys with Tavares in the past series. Well, they didn't have the same kind of depth, so guess what? They took a L. And I mean, for the Leafs too, goaltending was an issue against Boston at some points, and that'll happen to you. That'll kill you. And Mike Smith, I mean, had a good season. I thought overall in the series he played well. I don't think he was bad, but you can't allow 3 goals in half a period.
No, that's inexcusable. Like, for a team that wants to compete and wants to win, you cannot allow that.
You need 1 save, right? They named it a save for a reason. You're not going to go through an entire game without allowing shots or allowing chances. They named it save because you are saving your team, and you need those. And if you can't provide a timely save, then, I mean, whatever. And once they lost game 3, I mean, that series was over.
Mm-hmm.
If they would have won game 3, they would have won it 4-1. They might have gone to 6 and 7, and hell, the Oilers at that point might have messed around and got a W. But they lost game 3. The series was over right then and there. I don't care that game 4 went to friggin' 19 overtimes. Okay, it was over after game 3.
And they just look deflated and dejected too. And the big thing they're like is the body language. They knew it, which sucks. If you watch the broadcast, man, you can see the players and they knew it. And I want to touch back on that point you were talking about with you can't just have 2 good players, because I'm going to tell you this might be groundbreaking news. A lot of teams have really good players, and a lot of times good players are going to be matched up against good players, which is why you roll lines and, you want your kind of depth players to hopefully have the edge over the other team's less better players.
Exactly. That is really what it comes down to, it, because your stars are going to, sometimes one team's going to have the better stars, but your stars largely are going to almost pretty much cancel each other out every time.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, oh, we have McDavid and Draisaitl. Well, that's cool. Well, Mark Scheifele's not a bum. Like, he's going to get his points. Scheifele's not a bum. Connor's not a bum. Ehlers is a freaking wicked shooter, man. I love Nick Ehlers. He's awesome.
Underrated, I think, too. Like, he's always in that underrated category. Like, I feel like a lot of people overlook his ability, but, man, he can just rip that puck, man.
He sure can.
Oh.
It's like when people, didn't think Eric Stahl was that good, and then Eric Stahl scored 40 goals a couple times.
Yeah, we got to bring up Eric Stahl, eh?
Yep.
Well, let me kind of tell you something then. I want to kind of transition.
Tell me something, brother.
Let me tell you something then, just really quick then. I wonder who got the overtime winner last night for their team. It was not Eric Stahl, because his team didn't even score a goal. It was Jordan Stahl in the Carolina Hurricanes over the Nashville Predators. And I don't know if you've been watching too much of that, but that's actually been a pretty fun series to watch. Like, for crowd-wise, it's been pretty decent, dude. Crowd-wise,
energy-wise, both teams play fast. And I feel like those games have a lot of chaos in them. And, I don't know if it's UC Saros' juicy fruit ass pads that kind of make an optical illusion. But I feel like that guy is chaotic as hell. Like, he is super aggressive and he just moves a lot. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if it's the juicy fruit pads, but it's something that I've noticed. Like, I'm watching the game and I'm like, Jesus, this guy's everywhere. And yeah, I mean, sure, it's cuts the angle off. I guess you're gonna get beaten on some passing plays, but shit, it's entertaining to watch. I know that.
You just kind of overthought that a little bit because I now have a brand new sponsorship idea in mind.
Oh,
UC Fruit.
oh,
UC
$1
Fruit.
right there.
Millions of dollars.
Idea.
Millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. Millions of dollars.
Oh my
UC
God.
Fruit, dude.
UC Fruit.
The second you said it, my brain just went ting.
Oh my goodness. How did I
UC
think
Fruit.
of that? I am pissed.
Dude, it was right there.
It really was right there.
You're going to be
Oh
so
my-
pissed even more when you said that and you just see my eyes just light right up like, oh, UC Fruit.
goodness.
Put them on the pack of gum, stopping bad breath, delivering great flavor, like
Yep.
UC Fruit. It's right there. Call us.
That's
Juicy
ama-
Fruit. Call
That's
us.
amazing.
Sell it in Nashville. Make it limited. Dude, collector's item right there. I'll buy a pack just to put on my desk right here just to have it. UC Fruit.
That's awesome. Holy shit. But Jordan Stahl, the captain, eh?
Yeah. Really
I
good.
find
He got that.
that's-
It was a nice goal too. Like, hey, listen,
Yeah.
what did I say last time, man? You want bread? You go to the store. You want coals? You go
my
to the
God.
net. And he went to the net, and it was like granted, it was kind of like a bedlam play. Like the puck was bouncing everywhere, which I feel has been a trend in these playoffs a lot. Like pucks are just kind of flying, going everywhere.
Are they made of rubber?
Vulcanized rubber, one would even say.
Whoa.
But they are just flying, and then
Volcanoes.
his celly afterwards too. Like you can tell, like
was
that
hype.
was
He was
hype. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can tell he was hype. In this series, dude, I don't want to say it, man. I'm pulling for the Hurricanes here, but I
too.
think this could be one that goes 7. Like just the way the whole
Yeah,
series has
man.
kind
The
of been
Preds
flowing.
are fighting.
Oh,
Like they're fighting in there, man. I didn't think they would put up that much of a fight. I feel like they're more outmatched than a lot of teams. Like the only team that I think were more outmatched were pretty much the Blues. Like those guys just didn't have a shot at all. But I don't know, man. The Preds are in there.
then they're kind of, I think, flying under the radar as well. Like because Carolina had a pretty decent regular season. I feel like a lot of teams
Decent.
or like a lot of people who are picking their teams in the playoff pool were just kind of like, oh, Carolina, Nashville, yeah, Carolina second round. Okay, cool. Like they just kind of dismiss
Yeah.
them, and I'm sitting here, I'm like, man, I don't know. Like if that core gets going and Saros is on his game, man, like I don't know.
They did come into the playoffs on a bit of a heater too. So I mean there's that.
Momentum, dude. If you can, that's what they say. Like the best thing is if you can get a couple wins right before the playoffs, you're already hot. You're already in game shape, which was
Yep.
the reason why I'm not gonna lie, I had no faith in the Winnipeg Jets, like at all, at all, because they were on this ridiculous cold streak. But man, I always say, man, I don't mind eating my words when I am wrong because they proved me wrong. But I'm
You know why
hoping.
the cold streak didn't hurt the Jets?
Why?
Because the North had to wait like a week to start the playoffs.
Oh.
I feel like if the playoffs start right after the regular season, the Jets continue their garbage streak and they don't play as crisp. I'm not saying they lose the series, but I think their negative energy would carry over to how they played more than that because they had a week to just go, okay, all right, shitty part of the season. We ended it really poorly. Let's just refocus, reset, go to war. We're taking on McDavid. And I mean, let's just go. Like if they didn't have a week to do that, I feel like they would have been a little bit more in trouble and more negative energy in that locker room, but they just reset it and they're on fire now. So watch. A lot of Leafs fans are getting real cocky. That series against the Jets, if they beat Montreal, is not going to be a cakewalk.
I'm not looking forward to it if, you know,
Nope.
I'm going to knock because series Montreal's not over yet. Like trust me, as a Leafs fan, naturally pessimistic, but we watched those games together and I'm just like, man, I really don't want to play this team. Like there's a reason why like I was happy when they were in separate conferences because I look at the Jets lineup and I'm like, that is so scary. Like that just does not look fun. Like man, you go from facing Carey Price to Connor Hellebuck. It doesn't get easier, man. Like that's just brutal.
That's the playoffs.
Yeah.
Doesn't get any easier. It gets harder.
And I like that thing you said about negative energy and how like when you're so kind of entrapped in it and it keeps going and it keeps kind of compounding. And there hasn't been, I guess, a better poster team of negative energy than the Pittsburgh Penguins, because that series against the Isles, I thought the Penguins were going to take care of them.
Wait, are you moving on to the next series?
Yes.
Okay. Before you close on the Hurricane series, I hate to interrupt you, but
please go ahead.
I just wanted to shout out Martin Natchez for that game last night, because he tore it up.
The
That
Natchez
man's a
boy, woo!
Natchez boy. Phil's on it with the freaking marketing tools today, man. Holy!
I'm telling you, man, get that guy a robe every time he scores a goal. Just play that.
If you're the next Coca-Cola, man, howl at Phil. He's gonna get your marketing department in order.
I'm gonna get you those millions of dollars that you've been looking for. You know, all I ask is just a sponsorship for the G20 show, and that's it, man.
Yeah, that's all there is to it.
That's all we ask.
And you know, like my boy Jay-Z said, there's no such thing as an ugly billionaire. And Phil, we're only a couple of $100 million away. So
yeah, baby steps, my boy. Baby steps.
Baby steps.
Baby steps, my boy. The journey of $1,000 billion starts with a single step, okay? We're going to take that first step together, my man. We're going to take that first step together. And speaking of taking that first step, when you play the puck, if preferably you should play it to someone on your team.
yes,
I don't know why Tristan Jarry decided not to do that. He ended up passing it right out to Josh Bailey, which cost them game 5.
Yeah,
and Teddy
was
Bluger
rough.
dunked on himself before. So this, negative energy, dude. What are the Pens like that bored? Like, is it the Pens of that board where they're like, you know what? Why don't we play like NHL on like legend difficulty? Or are the Isles just that pesky where if you make any mistake, they're gonna make you pay?
I think that's more it. I think the Isles are built on, we're going to give you nothing, and the one thing you give us, we're going to score on it. And they're just really good at it, man. Eberle is a freaking bucket. Like, that man is just walking snipes, and I love it, and I miss him very much. In Edmonton. God damn it. Why do we have to talk about him?
You brought him up, man. I wasn't even going there.
I should have vetoed this whole topic. No Islanders. Fucking Eberle.
We're not going to talk about any other blue and orange jerseys for the rest of the show. But you're right, man. They're just that team where if you give them just a little bit of hope, you give them just that little bit of a play, they will make you pay. Bars, by the way. And
Bars, yep.
Selfishly, because of what happened with the whole JT situation, I want to count the Islanders out every year. I just want to be like, they're not going to do nothing. And every single year, they make me eat like my words and eat crow, dude. And I'm getting so frustrated with it.
They're playoff belt, man. It doesn't matter. There's seeding, nothing. They remind me a little bit of the early 2010s LA Kings. They're not even gonna be close to the President's Trophy, but once they're in the playoffs, they're a freaking problem, man. That's the Islanders to me.
That's that. And you think about it too, like with that team they have right now, they're only gonna get better, dude. Half of their players, they're so young. Wallstrom, Dobson, Barzal, dude, like Sorokin. Where did Sorokin come from?
Yeah, I don't know.
Man, how? How is he like emerged as just a genuine, like soon to be fantastic NHL starter, just seemingly out of nowhere? Like I thought once Leonard left, I'm like, you know what? Okay, that'll be it. That'll be the decline. Goaltending is gonna be a thing, and all the Isles fans are like, oh, Sorokin's coming over, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll see you when he gets here. And I'm like,
and here he is.
God,
and here he is, and they are winning games. That's a rough one, but I mean, I guess they got good development staff and good coaches.
You know what? Barry Trotz, man.
If this happens with every goalie, at some point, it's a little bit, the Islanders are a bit of a common denominator. It's like, oh, every star wants to leave the Sens. Well, at some point, it's the Sens. It's a common denominator. Same thing with the Islanders and goalies, man. The Islanders just get lucky with goalies. No, they develop them and they put them in a position to succeed. That's what happens.
That is what happens. And the Penguins actually have a game tonight against the Islanders. And I know this will probably go up as it's happening or whenever. But who is your pick to win that game? Do you think the Isles are going to close it out, or do you think the Penguins are going to push it to 7? It's a tough choice, man. Like it's
tough choice. That is a tough choice, but I say it's going to go to 7.
Yeah,
and it's going to be a coin flip, as all Game 7s are.
I like that. I'm going to say the same thing, just because the Penguins have veteran leadership. They have Crosby. They have Malkin.
They have Sidney Crosby.
Yeah, that's the
end of list. They have Sidney Crosby. That alone can mean they go to 7.
Exactly. I was like, amazing. Just end of demo. Like you could just end it right there. They have one of the best hockey players in the world. He's good. He's skilled.
Yeah, he's everyone knows what he can do. And if they can actually get some goaltending and their depth holds up, that's it. Which, I mean, their depth doesn't even need to do that much when you're playing the Islanders. All your depth has to do is not screw up. Exactly. That's pretty much what it comes down to. Don't screw up the bottom 6 and the bottom pairings. Don't screw up. Don't give them anything, and then let your stars figure it out. It's going to be a grind against the Islanders, but eventually, they can figure it out. They can figure it out. If not, well, you're going to lose. That's it.
You know what? It's absolutely fair. And that's a really good thing about the playoffs, man. And you can tell right when the regular season ends and the playoffs begin, that kind of grind level, that nastiness, it just kind of rises, dude. It's like someone takes the lever on like an amp and just goes, oh, we're at like a 3 right now. What if we turn it to like 15? What if we go to like 38? Well, it only goes to 10. I'm going to turn this to like 85. I think that's great. And no series has been a better indicator of that than the Tampa Bay and Florida Panthers series. That series has just been nasty. There have been hits. There have been hacks. There have been whacks. It has just been absolutely just off the rails nastiness and just pretty fantastic hockey, man. It's been a treat to watch.
So I'm going to ask you something right now.
Yes.
If you're an NHL player.
Yes.
And for some reason, teams are allowed to just sign you like now or like at the start of the first round.
Okay.
Which series would you rather play in?
Oh,
I'm not asking you which team you want to play for. I'm saying which series would you rather play in? Because me, it would be this series.
Yeah, I would probably want to say the same thing, just because if you want to get like just acclimated in playoff hockey right away, get yourself in game shape, like get ready for what this is going to become, this would be the series right here. If I get to pick teams, can I please be Tampa?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
You would play for Tampa?
Absolutely, dude.
But Barkov's your boy.
I know, but just call me Kevin Durant. I want a ring, all right? I need a ring.
God damn it.
Daddy's got to make that money, okay? I need a ring.
Fair. That's fair. No, I'd love to play in this series. It's one of those series because when I played hockey, I like to play physical.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if it's a non-contact league, you still get puck battles alongside the boards. You can still be physical, in front of the net and shit. Mm-hmm. Pushing people around. I love doing that. So when I watched that series and I'm just like, I want to go play the game. I want to go play right now. And I can't because everything's shut down. But
you walk outside and stop right there. The police just like handcuff you, throw you back inside the house.
Yeah, you walk outside and you see the Ford whatever SUV coming around with the freaking lights and shit, and you're like, oh right, I'm not sure walking's legal.
Dude,
nice.
I just walk outside my door and it's just helicopters like we have you surrounded. I'm like, well, of course you do. You have air supremacy. Where am I gonna go? But you're right. That would be
my favorite is playing
series.
GTA,
mm-hmm.
and sometimes one of the voice lines for the cops is like, place all of your weapons on the ground. And I'm like, how much time do you have? This is Grand Theft Auto, son. I have a weapon wheel full of them shits. I would just imagine somebody like, okay, drops a friggin' AK-47 and then a 74U and then a freaking M16 and then okay, now we're gonna drop our pistols and now we're gonna drop this rocket launcher, this grenade launcher. I could just imagine LMGs popping out of your ass like. Whenever I hear that line, I'm like, yes, give me 1 minute, 1 moment, please.
I just want to be like the guy and like holding lit Molotov cocktails. Like, you sure? You know what's gonna happen if I drop these, right? Are you sure? Just goes up in the air completely. But yeah, dude, I'm the same way. Like I always joke about this too. Like I'm feisty, right? So like I just like my ish talking per 60 would just be off the charts. Like, and so I would be just perfect in this series alone. But man, I really want this to go to 7 games. Like I desperately want this to go to 7 because these are 2 good teams, and I want one of them to go home, and one of them will go home. Which, by the way, if Spencer Knight keeps playing the way that Spencer Knight played,
my God.
He could single-handedly carry this series to 7 because
Early
what he
20s.
let. Oh yeah. Oh, and dude,
he's younger than me.
He's
like,
gonna
God.
be so good for so long, which just upsets me, man.
I don't think I'm good at anything as good as Spencer Knight is.
Yeah, in terms of just I'm the same way. Like I can't. Some teams they have all the luck, dude. Like they have all the luck. Spencer Knight just comes in. You know, he gets the first goal scored on him, but he's just like, yeah, nope, that's not happening again. And
Wasn't
then
it like
shuts
negative
it down.
10 seconds in too? Like he got scored on immediately.
Yeah. He's like, well, that sucked. That's never
and
happening
just
again.
Patrick Waugh, no more goals, and then no more goals happened.
And then he allowed nothing, and the Florida Panthers consequently went on to win the game. And then I remember I made the joke because they were like, he's 20 years old. I'm like, he can't even drink. And you were like, yes, he can.
Yes, he can. I don't give a shit what the law says. Yes, he can. Every single establishment in Sunrise is giving him whatever the fuck he wants to drink that night. I promise.
They will give him anything. If he wants like a Canadian Kit Kat bar, they will drive the 28 hours to the border, get promptly sent back home, but they will have a Kit Kat bar for him.
Is it 28 hours?
You can do it in a day if you don't stop, I think. I think you can do it in like just under a day if you just straight down. I'm thinking from Ontario, by the way, just so you guys have a reference point. I think you could do like a straight drive. I mean, I kind of want to do it. Like, I want to kind of drive to Florida. No? You don't want to do that. You don't seem like a guy who kind of like would be like a drive kind of guy, like that long kind of trip.
Not a long one. I'll go for a drive for like 2-3 hours.
Like that's it. That's max, dude. That's not even that far.
No, it's not. No, I just don't like sitting in place doing fucking jack shit. I don't like it.
Oh, that train ride must have sucked then, because that was like 4 hours.
Oh yeah, big time. Every time I go to Toronto, I gotta sit in this friggin' train car and just do nothing. Sitting here with my friggin' iPhone charger just plugged in and do next to nothing, just listening to music and watching laggy ass Netflix because the freaking Wi-Fi sucks.
Dude, train Wi-Fi's terrible.
I gotta do that for 5.5 hours, dude. Every time I go to Toronto, I'm like, I hate my life.
Next time you're just gonna fly. Next time you're gonna be like, screw it, I'll pay the extra like $50 and fly.
Flights to Toronto are not that cheap, are they?
No, dude, they might be. The way the airline industry is this entire year, you might actually get a pretty good, like, cheap flight. Well, I remember I was trying to come back one time, and if I had booked that night from Ottawa, like, to Toronto, it was only going to be like $100. Like, it was like $116. Then again, disclosure, this was in 2014. So it was going to be $116, and that was 6 years ago. Nope, 7 years ago. Math is hard. But
that's one way.
Yeah, that was one way. Exactly. So
yeah, see, you can pretty much train Ottawa, Toronto round trip for like $100.
Yeah, when I went, it was like $80 because I only bought one way because I was like, okay, maybe I'll fly back because I did the same thing. I was on the train for 5 hours and I'm like, well, this sucked. I don't want to do this.
I don't care what class you're in. It sucks. Sitting down doing nothing, watching trees go by and shit. It sucks. I don't like being on the train. So no, I wouldn't drive all the way down to Florida. Like, I would need a really, really good reason to be driving down to Florida. And I hate hot weather, so I can't wait for you to tell me what that reason is.
It's
if
the
we have NBA Finals tickets, I might.
I was just gonna say, I'm like, it's either it's the NBA Finals or it's the Stanley Cup Finals, and it's Tampa, Florida, because of this bullshit setup or by happenstance.
Yeah. Other than that, my ass is staying home, air conditioned, where I can just go outside and walk when I feel like it.
And the fact there would be no Tim Hortons in like an immediate vicinity either would kind of suck too.
Oh, dude, we'd have to stop in New York.
And that would be
We would
it.
have to.
I think that would be it. I don't know how far south Tim Hortons go in America.
Just get one of the big ass boxes of coffee. Just two of us walking in. Yeah, we're gonna have a big ass box of coffee for the two of you. Yes, sir.
Do you
We're
sell it
going
by
all
the
way to
barrel?
Florida.
Like, can we just grab a barrel and put it over our shoulder?
We have these coffee pots you can. I don't have a coffee machine, bro. I'm about to friggin' drive down for 20 hours.
This is a Toyota Supra. Where am I gonna put that? I don't know why I feel be driving in a Toyota Supra. I don't even have a Toyota Supra. It was just the first car that came to mind.
You know what? Nah, I wouldn't drive 28 hours in a Toyota Supra. That's one of my favorite cars ever. I was gonna say
cool.
maybe.
The car would have changed the mind. Really? You hate the thing, but the car changes it? What if it's like a Lamborghini? You get 28 hours in that.
No.
No?
No fucking way. Not a supercar. Supercars are uncomfortable.
I guess, built for speed,
they're really fun. They're fast. They're awesome. They're loud. They are uncomfortable. Do not sit 28 hours in a Lamborghini. You will hate your life.
I sat, I think it was like the 3 hours in Kyle's car when we were driving to Niagara Falls for training camp, and we both are tall gentlemen. So
You and Kyle?
No, you and I. You and I are
Ah.
tall gentlemen, just for reference. And our friend Kyle is not a tall gentleman.
That's why I was saying. I'm like,
But whenever I sit in his car, I am always like an inch from the roof, and that's like me even kind of slouching. So the worst is when we have to go like long drives, and I kind of have to like sit and scooch a little bit. And I'm like, if we get into an accident, that's a wrap. Like I am, like I am done. And the even kind of worst thing about it was when we had you, me, and Kyle, and you had to sit in the back. And I can't imagine how much
we
that
alternated.
sucked. We did alternate because, okay, then I will tell you from experience, it sucked.
Yeah, I was going to say you can 100% imagine. I called shotgun. I called shotgun.
Oh,
Shit.
I remember too. Now that you brought that back, I just have flashbacks of just upset, just going right back into the car. And I remember too because that was when we got to spend that awesome day at the Leafs Habs Crown Royal party presented by Crown Royal. Get your crown today. I don't know what their slogan is anymore, but that was a pretty fantastic night. That was like the first time we really got to hang out too.
Yeah, it was. It was.
And I was just like, hey, guess what, buddy? We got this awesome surprise planned for you. And you're like, oh, yeah. And then we get you in and we're like, guess what you're doing tonight, buddy?
Yes, sir.
And it was a lovely Crown Royal party.
What was funny is before going, we knew we were going to the Crown Royal party, and it's friggin' sponsored by Crown Royal, and it's at a sports bar. So I'm like, we're gonna get some sort of free drinks or something. Like I was like, oh, we might get some free beer, and friggin' Phil over there starts clowning me. He's like, oh yeah, a Crown Royal sponsored event is gonna have free beer. We got their open bar.
Okay. Think of devil's advocate here. It's a whiskey. It's a whiskey. You think maybe if we're gonna get free samples, it might be like a shot of whiskey. And we did. We actually got like Ryan
free,
like coconut
the
drinks.
sample drinks. Yeah.
I was like, so I wasn't technically wrong, but I won't deny that I wasn't an asshole about potential free beer. I gotta own up to my shit.
We should have gone back and see if we could have had more free samples because we had one of each. But like, what if there was more?
I bet it's open bar. I bet there would have been. Like,
yeah.
I bet if we'd have just asked. Well, because we just went and brought the card up. I would have been like, hey, I hear there's like a sample drink here. Like, I would have just straight up lied. I have no problem doing that. I would have just been like, yeah, I didn't try it before. Can I try it now? So you were here like 5 minutes ago. I'm like, yeah, but that was for my buddy over there. You see, like the short guy with Carlton. Yeah, that was for him. This one's for me.
Meeting Carlton was cool.
That was kind of cool. He came right up to the table too.
Yeah, we were watching the Leafs on the big screen with friggin' Carlton at our table. How dope is that?
He just like walked right up. He like
Hey,
puts
that's
his hands
amazing.
up. And I'm just like, what's up, buddy? I got like an arm around him. Like, yo, this is my
Yeah.
dude Carlton right here. Like, we're just chilling. We're just vibing. And yeah, dude, like think of like a more perfect night. You get an open bar. You get a huge screen. You know, like Steve Dangle's there. Adam Wild's there.
Yep.
Jesse Blake's there. You get to shoot on a goalie with a terrible wooden stick, by the way. Just, ugh.
That stick sucked, but
It wasn't good.
that was the point. That was the point. Give you a difficult stick to shoot with.
Like, I hate that when you handicap me with the tools, man. How dare you do that?
It's like, had I known there was a shooting contest, I would have brought my friggin' Warrior QRNL. I would have friggin' destroyed this shit.
Marshall's just like, ping, 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 ping.
Yeah, just whipping it.
Flicks it up in the air, like Svechnikov's it just for good measure. Like, look what I can do. Ping, ping. Brings his
That's
own
so-
goal horn and everything.
But had we known that it was gonna be open bar though, we should have Ubered there instead of having Kyle drive. Because in that case, I would have had more drinks than that.
Yeah, I felt kind of bad too, because like we didn't know. Like, it was at a bar, so we just assumed, okay, you know, like you might get like I was whole time, like I said, I'm thinking we're gonna get 1 or 2 complimentary whiskey things. Like that's it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's all we were gonna get. That's all we were gonna like get. I was like, okay, 2 drinks, whatever, fine. You know, like 2 drink minimum.
We'll
kinda
buy a
thing.
third and a fourth maybe.
Yeah, you know, because it's a hockey game. It's like, you know, it's 2 hours, like give or take, with TV timeouts, intermission, stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like, we'll buy a couple drinks, but then we go and they're like, I think I even asked them, like, yeah, can I get like a menu or something? Like, let me see the prices. Like, oh, it's open bar, and I'm like,
We all looked at each other like, huh?
and then Kyle's just sitting there like,
What'd you just say? Yeah, Kai was pissed because
Marshall
he had
and
the
I
driver.
dart at
Driver's
each other
back.
like, open
Yeah.
bar. Like we look at each other, we're just like, oh.
So in solidarity with Kyle, we didn't actually drink that much.
No, yeah, I'll agree. Like, I didn't even like really get like I have a decently high tolerance anyway. But like, yeah, with him, like I think
Me
I only
too.
had like a couple. Yeah, like we didn't even have that much. I think I maybe had like 1 or 2 towards the end because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go home with a nice little buzz. You know, I'm like, yeah, why not? I'm
You
like,
know
it's the
how I
end of the
knew I
night.
had incredible tolerance?
How?
I drank a G Fuel like 30 minutes before bed and I slept fine. I was like, oh, okay. So caffeine is just not even a thing. Good. I can just tank through caffeine. That's awesome.
I am so jealous, by the way, that like you can handle that. Because if I did that, I would be wired. Like I would be bouncing. Like the rooms are next
Caffeine
door. Like,
gets you like that.
yes, dude. That's why like whenever I go to work, I always bring like my tall boy cup, and then I just have one at the start of my shift, and then I have one around like 2 o'clock ish, give or take, and then that gets me through the rest of the day. The
Yeah, but-
worst was when I had like 4 in like a stream. That
Oh, and
sucks.
you were bouncing up and down.
Oh, dude. I remember I had to pause the stream and walk because I was like caffeine
Oh my
jitters
God.
just sitting, dude. It was during NHL hits. It was during that time I streamed for like 9 hours.
Oh my goodness.
So I was just buzzing. I was sitting here. I'm like, I gotta take a second. Like I gotta walk because my I was just
No, go. Finish
oh
it.
that's the end. Like I was just sitting here and I was just like
Okay. So I remember one day I had I had 2 NOS in the morning because they were 2 for $5 at the store. Perfectly fine for me. I can tank that. It wakes me up a little bit and I'm fine. I don't get jitters or nothing like that. My girl comes pick me over.
nice.
Have a coffee at Tim's. We go do some stuff. I have an ice cap at Tim's. Then we went to the store. Energy drinks were 2 for $5 again. She buys 2, gives me 1. And then later on at night, I was getting tired, and she's like, "You should get some Monster." I'm like, "Actually, babe, I don't think I should. I think my heart might explode if I drink another one." I was like, it's not like I was jittery or something. I was just conscious of, oh, that's a lot of caffeine there, bud. Maybe you want to slow down before you're a friggin' puddle of friggin' foaming at the mouth dumbness on the ground, you know. So that was that's the story of how I almost had a heart attack because I was having a fun day, but I was fine.
And yeah, and since that day, you were like, you know what? I like that too, because like I feel like once you have a day like that, where like you kind of have a gauge of how much caffeine you've had, you can kind of
Yeah.
build off that, and you know your limit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you want to, you can try to venture above that. But like, if you know how you felt at that absolute zenith, like, yeah, you know what? I might have a heart attack. You might want to stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of almost having a heart attack, every time the Leafs play the Habs, I almost have a heart attack. But you know what?
That's
I've been calm
that's,
over
that's
the last
okay.
little
Mark
bit.
Bergevin almost does too.
The Batman. By the way, one of my favorite things to come out of that game was the point at the monitor and what people have done with the memes.
The memes with the point at the monitor are just never getting old, ever.
It's like
Ever.
that.
I'm gonna listen.
Sperry.
Y'all are gonna want to watch my Twitter because I have a draft saved up, and I'm using one of the memes. It's not the point at the monitor meme, but I've been waiting to use the Yasperi meme, and if they lose game 5, I am using that meme. It's in the drafts. It's ready to go.
Where can people find your Twitter, by the way? What is the Twitter handle?
Well, if you want to just type it in, it's at G20YT. But if you want to just click a link, it's all going to be down in the doobly-doops down below in the description. That's where you find my Twitter. We should have done this earlier in the episode, by the way. My Twitter, you'll find Phil's Twitter. You'll find the Discord community link, invite tab, whatever the fuck. And Phil's Twitch.
Hey.
So there you go.
Because one of these days, man, we'll be doing this show live. It'll be live. Ready to go.
It'll be fun. You'll be able to participate live in the show. And also, since we're talking about participating, if you want to hit up a Q&A for the next episode, then leave your questions down below in the comment section, and I am going to answer them in the next. Or if you got some questions for Phil, too, feel free to ask Phil some questions.
I've lived a life. I've done things.
I've been here.
I've been here, man. Come on.
I have Earth experience.
I have experience on the Earth.
The Earth.
The Earth. Trademark. The Earth.
Trademark the Earth.
But
with UC fruit.
Yeah. UC fruit, dude. I'm proud of us. That alone, just millions of dollar idea.
Man, if the show wasn't in its infancy and I didn't have to title it something that people know what they're clicking on, and I could just title it some bullshit because we have a built-in audience. Like, if the show wasn't on episode 2, UC Fruit 100% would be the title.
I was going to say, I'm like, dude, that is such a good one, too.
It is.
Like, can we, like, slip that in description? Like, as the boys chat some UC Fruit? I feel like we can't let this die, you know? Like, sure, I feel like we can't...
It'll be in the description.
We need some graphic designers. If you guys do art, make a UC Fruit package cover for us, please. And if there's something good, I'll feature it on the next episode. I'll make a whole screen and credit you and everything. So there you go. Graphic design artist, UC Fruit. Make it happen.
Print the shirt.
Print the shirts.
Print the shirt.
Oh, man. That's, you know, I'm kind of glad that, like, we're kind of finding that kind of space right now. We're kind of finding our kind of edge and niche and stuff like that. Like, people are going to get a real good gauge, and I'm starting to get a real good gauge of the Maple Leafs, dude. They are looking pretty solid right now. I don't want to jinx anything, man, but they've shown over the last couple of games that when the pressure's up there, man, I feel like this team especially, like when compared to years past, I feel like they have matured a lot. And now they have a 3-1 series lead, and Game 5's coming up. I'm not going to say anything because, like I said, naturally pessimistic, but it's looking promising. That's all I'm going to say. It's looking promising.
The one big thing, like, I knew this team was different this season because they just look different. They don't completely panic and just eat it whenever they're up or whenever something bad happens. It's not a big, and then they just go into panic mode. But the playoffs started, and then when Matthews did that thing where I think it was Sherratt just ragdolled and punched him in the back of the head behind the net, and Matthews was just laughing it off. That's when it clicked. I was like, oh, they get it. They get it. They've matured enough. They know the post whistle stuff, man. That experience playing Boston, they get it. You do a little something, you don't go overboard, and then you wait for them, you bait them into some bullshit, and you, most importantly, you don't get baited, you don't fall for the retaliation call. And when I saw Matthews do that, I was like, ooh, that is one of their leaders, and he freaking gets it. And it's spread throughout the lineup, and it's that's just a great sign of maturity that I like to see. But speaking of post whistle stuff, I'm gonna call out somebody right now.
Oh,
And hopefully he comes out for game 5, because I feel like he's been absolutely invisible. We got you for the playoffs, bud. We're going to need Wayne Simmons to actually do something.
yes, and not just be like that just annoying pest. We need him to be more productive. He's good at getting under skin, man, but we need something. Whether
And
it's
he hasn't even done that this playoff. He had like late in game, I think it was 3, late in game 3 or late in game 4. He was doing the nonsense after the game was already over. I need Wayne Simmons to come out and inject some energy into the game, and he hasn't been doing that in the first couple games. Now, granted, it's Wayne Simmons. If you live or die off of what your 3rd/4th line wingers do, you're not a good team. So I don't think he's imperative to the Leafs winning or losing, but I think we need to see more out of Wayne Simmons. And I love Simmons. Okay, I'm not hating on him. Okay, like I have a 24 Kapanen jersey. It just might get rebranded to Simmons. Okay, because I really like Wayne Simmons.
That's a bold claim. That's a bold claim. I like that.
Yeah, I was excited. I was like, yeah, playoff Simmons, big hits and shit. No, not much, not much.
And I could say the same thing too. Up until last game with Joe Thornton, like just relatively unimpressive
he needed
to me.
that.
Yeah. Oh, and it was a
We
good
needed
goal
that.
too. Like the angle, the way he torqued his body to get that tip, dude. Like
Yep.
people look at like, oh, he tipped it. I'm like, did you see how he was contorted? Like,
Oh yeah, that was a skillful play.
how he was like bent in his body positioning and stuff like that. But dude, up until that goal, I was like, man, Joe, I know why we got you, veteran leadership and stuff, but like you're saying, it's like we need you for experience. We need you to step up and have a big moment. And getting that, I think it was it 3-0 goal? Like that was
Yeah, it was.
yeah, it was a 3-0 goal, and that's that's nice because it kind
was
of
game.
put the game. Yeah, that put the
Yeah.
game just out of reach. And
Well, that wasn't the game. They scored, and then they took a penalty. That penalty kill after they scored that 3-0 goal, they took a penalty right after. When they killed it off, I was like, that's it. Put it to bed. It's over. If Montreal scores on that power play, they have a chance of coming back. But when they shut it off, and that Leafs PK has been so good. And when they killed that penalty right after the 3-0 goal, the game was over right there.
can we just talk about, just for a quick second here, how just fantastic that Kerfoot, Galchenyuk, and Nylander line has been? Seemingly just out of nowhere.
Oh,
like,
It felt
what?
so good to watch Galchenyuk score on the Habs.
Oh. And what about those passes he was dishing out, man? He's dishing that sauce
Between
better
the
than
legs,
dominoes.
spin move and shit. Oh, beautiful.
Dude, out of nowhere too. Like that whole sequence, like Kerfoot brings it up to Galchenyuk, who's just like thunk, and then Nylander just backhands, and I'm just like, this line wasn't even supposed to be a thing. Like Galchenyuk wasn't even in game 1, dude.
They figured it out.
What?
That's what we're talking about, man. It's maturity.
And it's just they're good. They're good. They're feisty with Kerfoot and Galchenyuk, and Nylander has just been on one, like we've talked about. Like this is just the right kind of skill sets and the right kind of things just coming together and just producing gold right now, man. And it is just exciting, man. And the Leafs actually have some good news that you actually talked to me about earlier, and I wasn't even aware of this, with Mr. John Tavares.
Yes, sir. My boy Juan Tavares. Okay, he visited the Leafs practice facility today. I'm sure we're going to get some details later, but as of recording of the podcast, we don't really know much other than that. So to me, that tells me that his concussion isn't bad enough that he has to stay home and do nothing. He's also apparently been texting and voice chatting people, like on FaceTime, voice chatting the team before and after the games. So again, that's telling me if he's talking about the game, doing all that stuff, that means he's watching the game. That means blue light is not too overly stimulating for him. And so that's really good news because Tavares could come back. I'm not saying he is or isn't, but Tavares, he could come back because the thing is, he got his knee injury that was a 2-week timeline at first. I don't know if it's still that, but I think it is.
Mhm.
And then the concussion is just weird. The concussion it can last 5 days, a week, 2 weeks, 5 months. Concussions are weird, so we're gonna have to wait and see. But there's a small chance that Tavares might come back late in the Jets series if it goes late. And I think he was going to the practice facility to get work done on his knee. That's just a theory that I have because why else would he go? He's not going to freaking practice.
The thing for me with JT in the timeline too is it's actually kind of cool because when you were like saying that like, oh, he's going to the practice facility and he's watching games and stuff like that, I'm like, I was thinking in like just a small kind of brain mindset where I'm just like, oh, like that's good for morale, good for the boys. You're thinking in 3D galaxy brain like, yo, that means blue light's not stimulating him right now. That means he can watch stuff, and that means it's not going to be bad for his concussion. And you're like, that means he can actually move and get out of the house, which means it's not debilitating. And then it just clicks in my brain. I'm like, oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I mean, because I've had a concussion before. And I didn't know I had it until years later when we actually knew more about it and we did research and stuff. But I had it, so I can tell you that sometimes you feel like you're okay, but you're still not super quite there mentally. So there is a chance that that could be the case and JT can't come back for months at a time. But I also had a teacher back in high school who had a concussion. And when she came back, she explained to us what it was. And she was saying I had to be in my room 24/7, laying down, no sound, no light, nothing. If she heard somebody slam a door or if she tried to watch TV or listen to music, it was way too stimulating and it was just headache, getting dizzy and all that nonsense. And so I was pulling a little bit from that experience of my teacher. And I was saying, oh, well, that's not JT. Because obviously he's watching the games, he's FaceTiming people, he's walking around, going to the practice facility. So I'm like, okay, so he's out of bed, he's moving around, he's all right. So he's somewhere between fine and not quite right mentally. I can't really play hockey. So we'll see.
And that's just, I think, the worst kind of as a fan, the kind of period for him to be in, because it's like he's doing these steps where like you get that hope that like, you know what, like maybe he could be back and stuff like that. And I bet you too, like this probably is just eating at him because he wants to be back. Like he wants to be there probably so bad. But you got to think of your, especially with concussions, you got to think of your health first, like at all times, dude.
Exactly.
Like you got to think of your health, your long term. He's got kids, dude. Like he's got a family. He's got to think of. He's got like a wife. I think he's like 2 sons now. Like
got himself to think of, man. If he's not ready to go, why would you damage? It's your concussion is your brain, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't want to. You don't want to mess with that. I get you want to win the Stanley Cup and stuff, but no.
The Leafs, I think, have a really good staff in sports science, and I think that's where that's going to come into play in evaluating him. And they are not going to let him play unless they are comfortable and he is comfortable. But obviously, it's going to be the club that has the final say, which I think is probably the best bet. Like they'll probably give him like, John, how are you feeling? And then he'll let them know. But it's again at the club's discretion as well, because like you said, it's your brain. It's arguably one of 2 vital things in your body.
Yeah, they're paying him, 11,000 or 11 million a year. Like they have a say in his sports health. Like whether you think that's messed up that they can make decisions or not. I know Jack Eichel has a thing with the Sabres about his neck and his surgery, but if you're paying someone to play sports for you, you have to protect your asset and protect your investment. So they obviously don't want him to rush back as I think John shouldn't want to rush back, but that's just me. Obviously, if you're a hockey player or just a player of a sport in general and you're in the playoffs, I think you're going to want to come back. I know I would want to come back as soon as possible. I'd be like, okay, I'm a little dizzy. Like, so fucking what? I'm John Tavares. I can come out there and I'm more skilled than half the guys you can put against me. So I'm gonna be an impact player and I'm gonna help the team win. So I know he wants to freaking go because I would want to go, but you got to have that mediator in the team that goes, you know, John, it's not a good idea.
Not yet. Not yet. Not at this current moment. I think the telltale sign will be when he starts skating again. Like that will kind of be where we'll start to get a gauge of, okay, he's skating. Like, what does that mean? I assume like in not even like probably a week. Like he'll probably if he's feeling okay.
Don't play with it.
No,
Don't play with it.
You don't
no,
think? No,
you don't know. We have no idea.
Yeah.
It could be months still.
Yeah, you know what? That's fair.
The real indicator that he's going to be close to coming back is when he takes off the no contact jersey.
That's what I was just about to get into. Is like I'm sure when he starts skating, it'll be red. It'll be by himself. Like
Because Crosby did that for a couple months or whatnot. He was skating around and had a no contact jersey and everything, but he was doing it for a while, and people were like, "Oh, he's skating, so he'll be fine." No, it's a concussion. You can't. You have to slowly work your way back until you really know you're ready to go.
Exactly.
When they take that contact jersey or no contact jersey off, that's when you know they're close.
That's when you know it's game time. It's ready. I just think he might, maybe if he's already going to facilities and stuff, he might start skating like in the red by himself just to see where his knee's at. That's what I was kind of getting into. It's like 2 weeks, maybe he's just gonna skate around and see where his knee's at.
Maybe
because like you said, like that's a 2 week kind of timeline. So he might want to see like where he's at for that.
Yeah, I think he was going in there probably to get some work done on his knee, like just some rehab stuff. But I don't know. We'll never know unless we do. And by the time the podcast comes out, but we don't as of recording. So there you go.
There you go, indeed. We will hopefully know. And you know what's pretty awesome about this? The lovely viewers, they want to know stuff about you, Marshall. They want to know stuff about the man G20 himself and what's going on with his YouTube life, what's going on with his life. And this is why we have this lovely Q&A section.
Q&A.
Where you guys get to ask. Oh, I like that.
We don't have a stinger. So
I was going to say, do that one more time.
Q&A.
Perfect. There we go. We'll cut that. But you guys get to ask lovely questions in the comments. So make sure if there's something you want to ask us, like we said earlier, dude, just comment it. We love it. We love reading all of them, man. It's pretty fantastic. And we have a fantastic here, which is actually coming from Joe Souza, who asks, who is your favorite hockey player of all time?
I have a few that I really, really like. Ryan Smith. I really, really like Daniel Alfredson. I think he was really good. Pavel Datsyuk's one of my favorites. I think Danny Heatley, when he was at the top of his game, was a freaking laser show.
1507, bud. Never
yes,
forget.
But for my money, my favorite would have to be Nicholas Lidstrom.
Interesting.
He is the embodiment of you don't need to be the fastest guy. You don't need to have the booming slap shot. If you just are smarter than everybody else, and you can play good positioning and just do everything properly, meticulously well, you can be a really, really effective player. So I think Nicholas Lidstrom would have to be the guy. As a hockey player, I'm not that. I'm a little bit more of a physical presence.
What do you mean you're not Nicholas Lidstrom as a hockey player? What do you mean?
You know what I mean? As far as playing style goes, like I'm a defenseman right now. That's the position I play the most. But I'm definitely not that. I'm a little bit more of a Chris Pronger bully type of player. But man, I just love the way that he did it. Lidstrom he wasn't anything special physically, man. It was all mentally and being really meticulous with every single detail of his game, and that made him the best.
Longevity. Think about longevity and how long he played and how long he was good. I don't think I noticed like a decline of like Lidstrom's like playing ability. That's how just good he was. Well, obviously, like you're not gonna be the same player 10 years ago, but like in terms of decision making and poise, dude, I feel like he never lost a step.
He could have played another, I think, 3 years
easily.
But he retired on top. Good for him, man.
Mm-hmm.
Good for him.
That's like one of the best ways to go out is on top. And Man's got like a solid trophy case alone. That's just Norris trophies.
Speaking of going out on top, Toronto, can you please win a cup for Jason Spezza, dude?
Oh my lord!
Like, God bless Joe Thornton. He's had a legendary career. Jason Spezza has had a legendary career, and he is still doing it.
Well,
he is unbelievable.
Man, there's just when
I want him to win a cup so bad, and I want him to play another season. Well, if he wins a cup, no, retire. Just retire, leave on top.
Mm-hmm.
But if not, please come back for another year so you get your 1,000 points in there, because Jason Spezza deserves it.
I don't want him to leave the organization. I want him to like have a role somewhere in the Leafs organization, like just
skill development or something.
Anything, dude. Make up a job. Like make up a job. Give him like whatever salary he wants, because he's taken 2 league minimum deals. Give him whatever salary.
Is it 2?
I think so. Back to back, like league min.
Wow.
Like 750 and 7, I think, or both were 7. But yeah, 2 league min deals. Just make up a job. Ambassador. Boom. Whatever. Just keep this man in the organization. Do not By the way, can we talk about how low-key of a power move it was like, too, when they placed him on waivers, and he's just like, if you guys claim me, I'm retiring. If anyone claims me, I'm retiring. Like, like, dude, that's a power move right there. And
well, it's
I thought it was
also
awesome.
a move of, like, he didn't want to go through changing cities and going to another team and, you know, fighting for a friggin' playoff spot. And who knows, like, we've seen it this year with goalies going on waivers, getting claimed, and not even playing a friggin' game in the NHL. He didn't want that. And he said, no, fuck you guys. If you claim me, I'm retiring. That's not legal. It should be penalized. No, show me the rule. Show me the rule.
I've read the CBA. It ain't there.
It ain't there.
It ain't there.
It ain't there. No, sir. I read that passage of the CBA because I was trying to see if I could find the rule. There wasn't one.
Nope, it's not there. That's a fun story. I'll tell
Either
sometime.
make one up for next year or shut up forever.
That's brilliant, Lud. Make one up or shut up.
Exactly.
I like that. That's pretty funny. I'm glad that you kind of modeled your career after, you know, notable like defensemen like Pronger, like that's kind of your play style and like how your favorite player is Nick Lidstrom, because a friend of the show, Mr. Hans Kret, an absolute beautician, asks where, Marshall, is the offensive defenseman series? And as someone who plays defense in the game, I kind of want to know as well.
I think I'm just gonna retire it. Well, it gets like a third of the views and interaction as the rest of the videos do. So, I mean, at some point, I want to upload things that people actually want to watch, you know? So, I don't know. I just feel like not enough people want to watch it. That is what the like button is for. And that is what, you know, clicking on the damn video is for, is to let people know, or let the creator know what you're enjoying, what you're not enjoying. And if people aren't interested in the series, I'm not going to upload it. It's that simple.
What if you get a bunch of comments on this video saying to bring back the offensive defenseman series? Guys, rally behind me here. I want to see more of this, okay? Please help me and rally so we can get at least one more video of offensive defensemen. I need it in my life, dude. As someone who enjoys watching defensive gameplay, there's not much out there. And this was so awesome. You guys, help me out. Help me out in the comments. If you want to see that, please comment down below with not just your questions, but that you want to see this offensive defenseman series. Because please,
really wants it back.
I really do want it back, man. Come on.
You know what another part of why that series went away is it's, man, be a pro with the AI is just a freaking clusterfuck sometimes with how the AI plays, and you move it up to the forwards and they are just like, it's 3 Nail Yakupovs up there. There's no freaking hockey IQ at all. So it's a little frustrating to play, and nobody watched it. So I was like, whatever. I'm gonna park it and I'm gonna focus on the winger series, because that's what the people want to see. So there you go. This
is why Jack Action has 132 points. Okay. With these
AIs.
AIs.
Exactly. You just got tired. You're like, you know what? Fuck this. If the team, or if it's literally impossible for me to play it realistically, why would I bother trying to play it realistic? I'm just going to go out and friggin' stop, skirt, snipe everything. So
nice. I like that.
Branding.
That was solid. Branding.
UC fruit.
UC, dude. I want that to be a thing now.
I know.
You know what? As sweet as UC fruit is, it's pretty sour that, we're all out of time for this episode, unfortunately. So, friends, make sure you get your questions in for us. Make sure you comment down below that you want to see that offensive defenseman series continue.
Actually,
Oh,
I'm looking at my phone,
okay.
and I have a question
Okay.
from Lionel Phrase
Oh.
saying, when the hell are you guys getting an extra screen for the podcast?
Hopefully by next episode we will have one. As a producer, I will confirm that
I just realized we still didn't work on it.
So we're gonna have that by next episode. I promise.
Listen, man, the Oilers had a back-to-back. The Leafs had a back-to-back. It was playoff high. It's crazy, man. It's the first round. It's tough to keep track of. All right, we
really
didn't do
is.
that yet, so we still don't have an extra.
Listen, we're still in this still is in its infancy. Okay,
Sure
like we're figuring stuff out. We're gonna get through it. Trust us. Just stick around with us because we like seeing you guys. We like seeing your comments. We like
do.
seeing you pop in, getting a beaucoup of likes on this.
Beaucoup.
This is just fun for me. This is fun for me to be back kind of on YouTube. So I'm having a blast doing this, man.
Right?
But next week we will have an awesome exit screen. It's going to be great. It's going to look fantastic. And we're just going to do this lovely little thing where I'm just going to talk and then there goes Marshall. There goes Marshall. We'll see you next week. Have yourselves a good one.